Peter, how are you?
Great to see you.
Good to see you.
How are you?
Good.
So where are we today?
Kanchanaburi, our proving ground here.
So what are we doing here today?
We are durability testing our 4x4 Transit automatic transmission, our new development. After the history of our Phoenix, we now have an automatic 4x4 Transit available.
Wow, and so what is this vehicle for?
It's for retail, RV customers, mining, military, police, everyone who needs to go a bit off-road, more in a gravel environment, not really racing the vehicle, support vehicles. So it's really a good way to get a large carrying capacity on the off-road.
So what have you done to this vehicle? Can you show me just a few features?
Yeah, a few things which you can see. Obviously, the car is sitting about 100mm higher off the ground with the larger tires on it. We put a transfer case on, which comes out of a Ford Ranger, and we changed the complete under construction so that we can go a bit more off-roading. But really, you need to come with me and drive it so you understand how it really performs.
Sure, I would like to have a drive.
Let's have a go.
Let's go.
Welcome to Kanchanaburi!
Hey, how big is this track?
We're talking about roughly 5 kilometers. So depending on the weather conditions, we have changed the track layout. Sometimes we are going down to just about 2.5 kilometers, sometimes a bit over 5. But that's just because the weather changes the track and sometimes you get something floating away.
Is there any particular reasons why we choose this track for the durability test?
Yes, there is. So we really tried to find a track which is very challenging for the car, giving high amount of inputs, but also allows us to drive fast enough that we can get high amount of impacts into the suspension. So here we're having a beautiful environment which changes permanently, having very high challenges to the car, but not so challenging that we cannot get really impacts or higher speeds into the vehicle.
Is there any chance that we might break the vehicle because of this such a rough terrain?
It is an intention that we are breaking the vehicle. So we kind of hope that's not going to happen, but the whole environment and the whole setting is that we're putting a massive amount of stress onto the car to ensure that our components and our design are last for life. Talking about breakages, also our design is intended to have certain amount of safety fail components. So we have made a suspension which ensures that before we are breaking anything severely on the car, which costs the user a lot of money, that we are failing component before we are failing a large cost item, so we can make easy replacement rather than having a costly vehicle repair.
Quite a lot of water in this area and rocks on the tracks. How is it going to impact our vehicle, and is this Transit able to accommodate this terrain?
Yeah, so as I said, we need to frequently change the track because certain areas are sometimes getting washed away. On the other hand, the rain is quite favorite for us because it helps us to maintain reasonably bad road conditions. So we're getting a lot of bumps and we're getting also the mud, so we have a lot of grip issues where the 4x4 system can really play out its benefits.
So is there any features of this vehicle that can help us go through this track a lot easier?
Yes, of course. The first thing is the large tires which we fitted here. So it's a 265 tire on 17-inch rims. We're having a lot of extra rubber between us and the road. This, together with the 80mm lift of the vehicle, gives us the ground clearance we need to get through all these bad terrains. Then, last but not least, of course, the real 4x4 system which we have. So the front and rear axles are permanently connected to each other. And if it gets really hard and difficult, we can go to 4x4 low, making us a 2.71 reduction gear. So with this we can go out of pretty much everything. And if ever it should happen that this is not sufficient, we can have the option to have a front and rear differential fitted to this vehicle so that we really can go out of the deepest mud or the lowest sand by ourselves.
And what is the special thing about RMA's suspension? What's different from the others in the market?
So, suspension system, we are developing it mainly on the on-road. So we are ensuring that our suspension system will meet or exceed the performance of the OE suspension first on-road bitumen target. Once we have done this, we are going on the off-road and fine-tuning it for the off-road environment. Key is here grip. So we are typically a little bit more softer than standard aftermarket systems. This is deliberately done so that we have in the off-road really the traction that we needed. And last but not least, a certain amount of comfort. So if you probably recognize right now, we are going badly off-road, but you're not really feeling any harsh bumps or anything in yourself.
Yes, I do feel it's really stable in our ride. I now noticed that your gear, it's an automatic. Why do we choose to use automatic?
The main reason really for this automatic is that these trucks, these 4x4 vans are quite heavy, and nowadays they're getting delivered with considerably small engines. Modern engines, but small from displacement. So here we're having a 2-liter engine. So to ensure that we're having a good traction everywhere, we have an automatic and torque converter, which helps us to go very slow, creeping and multiplying the torque. And again, we talk about our reduction gear. So now we're having a torque converter which multiplies the engine out torque and a 2.7 reduction gear, so we can get really a factor 4 to 5 out of the engine as torque. So in low speeds you're getting a massive amount of force on the ground.
And how do we manage to get these big tires, other vehicles brand?
Yes, the tire. So as you recognize, it's a van. So vans are typically not built for off-roading. They don't have wheel houses which can accommodate large tires. So the first thing which we had to do is change the suspension layout, and we moved the wheels a little bit further outboard to get some clearance in the steering. The other part is the entire front wheel house we need to rework to make space for the tires. And at last, of course, the lift of 80 millimeters out of suspension helps us to get sufficient clearance.
What's special about our transfer 4x4 case?
As I said, it's a reduction gear transfer case. So we take this transfer case out of a Ford Ranger, so a very proven off-road capable vehicle. Now this isn't shift on the fly, so I can, while I'm driving here now, go to 4x2 and 4x4. I don't have to stop, I can just shift. And I have the option to go for low range. So if we start to go in this low range mode, I need to stop because there's no clutch system inside. Go to neutral, seeing on my display here when the 4x4 low is then activated. And then I can go just straight into D and continue driving. And as you recognize now, there's much more RPM, with much more torque.
Yes.
I can drive this car in a very easy fashion. And here the key is not the speed. The key here is really the torque you have.
Got it. So why do we choose Transit 4x4, not Ranger, not Everest?
This is really of your use case. There's nothing wrong with the Ranger or an Everest. But sometimes you just need more space, you need more volume. You might want to have a workshop where you can stand inside. All of this a Ranger and Everest cannot deliver. With this platform here, we can have 14, 15 people transporting in an off-road environment. We can have a large RV in the back. You can have a complete ambulance which is now able to go in the off-roading. Or, as said before, a complete workshop where you can stand inside, do your repairs in rainy conditions, in cold conditions, and have still a lot of space for your transport needs. And see, it's also for support purposes. So think about in off-road racing conditions or off-road managing conditions, you have your Ranger, you have your Everest, but you need to carry all the additional stuff. So the Ranger doesn't give you the volume. So here you can put everything in. If you go for outdoor events, tents, cooking wear, all of this you can place in the 4x4 Transit, and you can come at the same location where the Ranger and the Everest can go. So how does it feel?
It feels really adventurous. It's pretty stable to stay in this car, even though I can see the outside terrain is very bumpy and rocky and muddy.
Yeah. See, that's another part of our suspension system. So it's a workhorse. People have to drive this car probably 7-8 hours a day. So no real impacts are coming into this vehicle at all. So you can really nicely drive the whole day without getting back pain or anything. Will we just jump over here?
Yeah. Wow. And how long is this car going to be in this test track?
On this test track here, we are trying to do about 20,000 kilometers. We might end up with 30,000 if the time and weather allows us. And after this test track here, we will add another about 60,000 kilometers of a mixed on-road, off-road cycle.
So once we reach 30 kilometers, what does it tell us about?
30,000 kilometers will, for us, approximately the lifetime of this vehicle. So we are thinking it's in the range of about 150,000 kilometers real life condition. So Anita, what do you think?
That was such an adventurous ride. I can really see a lot of works that RMA has put in this vehicle. It was really stable and it's really safe in this vehicle. So where can I get this car if I want one?
First of all, RMA Special Vehicles, over our web presence. You can find it wherever you want. In countries outside Asia Pacific, we have set up multiple distribution ships where you can get it close to your below position.
Got it. So if you want a off-road 4x4 transit vehicle, please contact RMA Special Vehicles.